It's part of things that I regret not doing in Korea. Once you start your master degree, you should start looking for the job. I mean, look for a place to find a job, making meaningful connection with people that will guide you, or introduce you to opportunities, going to job fairs, and all those things. I didn't do it before I complete my master degree. Right. I received the Korean government scholarship in 2016. At that time, I was running a family business, and I was also working with a Korean NGO, IYF, and as a volunteer. And I was also working with the US Embassy in Benin. So I got the information that there was a scholarship for Benin, and I applied for this scholarship, and I got selected. So I guess what give a lot of credibility to my profile is my volunteer work with the Korean NGO and also the US Embassy at that time in Benin. For me, since I wasn't doing research work, I was doing a global MBA, my schedule was a bit different. Actually, each semester I have to choose like 4 to 6 classes that I will have during this semester. So I only have class 3 days a week, and the rest of the time I'll be free. So I was living in the school dormitory. So I'll go to school and I'll come back home, have my lunch, and go back again. And I was also working a part-time job as a student. So during evening time, I also go to my part-time job and I work till late night and come back home. So that was my schedule. I believe so. I think they have more pressure because for me, it was just because I wanted extra money. I also wanted to do something because I'm really active person. But for them, they have to work and pay the school fee, and the living cost in Korea is quite high. So I know a couple of friends that was they were working also as a part-time student, but their money, they usually use their money to pay school fee because the school fees were quite high, and also for food and dormitory, but they didn't really have like savings and stuff like that. It's quite difficult, and they cannot really choose to not work. If they don't have job, part-time job, they are in big trouble. First, my first stress, it was the first year in Korea when I had to get the topic is the equivalent of TOEFL in Korean language. So yeah, it was quite stressful for me because it was mandatory. And if I don't get that topic, I cannot pursue with my master degree. That year, it was the first year and the most stressful year for me in Korea. Uh, Maybe another stress from my master degree was at the end of my master degree where I had like so many courses to finish. So I was really afraid that if I'm not able to finish all the courses, I will have one extra year. Obviously, yeah, I was stressed because I came to Paris for new opportunities because I was in Korea. I was thinking, I know how I understand Korean language, I know Korean culture, but what I know and my experience in Korea will serve me more outside of Korea in the Western world. That was the thought that I had.
Okay.
So I started applying for high rank business school in France, and I got admitted to ESSEC Business School, which is the top business school in France. So even when I got in that school, I was still stressed because my thoughts were like, if at the end of my 1 year course, if I don't get a job, it would be really difficult, or maybe I'll have hard time getting a job. Yeah, I was stressed, but of course, I definitely think so, because as a scholarship student, you have some allowance that you receive every month. So it take out of a lot of stress, so you can focus on your study. You know that you will not need money next month to pay for rent. You already have that money. So obviously you focus on study, you can have more fun with your friend and stuff like that. So yes, it's a big difference. In particularly in my master, the most important things was uh, doing your homework on time.
Okay.
That was the most important thing, because as I said, we only have class like 3 days or 2 days a week, but we have a lot of homework, like personal research that we have to do, that we have to present and stuff like that. Doing them was a huge part of doing them on time. Another thing that you have to do is your participation in class, because it was a global MBA. And then in my class, we have like 22 or 23 people from different countries around the world. So obviously, we don't have the same view on the same subject. That is what makes this program so interesting. And one core value, it was being able to discuss issues, being able to have a conversation and participate in the class. That was a huge part of your success as well. Maybe another thing for the master degree in Korea, you should be able to get the right information at the right time. What I mean is, if something is going on in your program, in your school, or there is something that you have to do at a certain time and then you don't know, because maybe you don't have friends who tells you, or you don't get the information at the right time, this can be really bad for you. So you need the right information at the right time. It is, but is in France, so I understand the language. I know the system, so I know
Oh,
where to go to get the information. In Korea, I don't know that.
no,
So
I
in
see.
some way, I have to get the information in Korean and translate and to first get the information and be able to understand the right information. Right. So it was
I
more
see.
challenging.
Oh,
First, let me talk about Korea.
okay.
In Korea, uh, usually when you go there as a student, the first thing you think about is completing your master degree. That's a mistake, because if you work hard, obviously you will complete your master degree. But the hardest part is to get job after your master degree. So it's part of things that I regret not doing in Korea.
I see.
Once you start your master degree, you should start looking for the job. I mean, look for a place to find a job, making meaningful connection with people that will guide you or introduce you to opportunities, going to job fairs and all those things. I didn't do it before I complete my master's degree. So I start thinking about getting a job during the last semester of my master's degree. I could have maybe had a internship in a company or something
Internship.
like that.
Okay.
It would have helped me to get a job as fast as possible when I complete my master's degree. But we don't usually think about those kind of things. We think about, I just want to finish my master's degree. But once you are done, that's the hardest part, getting a job. Now, combining my experience in Korea, in France, I think there's a huge difference. The first difference is the cultural difference in the academic and the working environment. If you go to a university like my university, you have a whole department in place to help you get a job. So this department is there to like bring the opportunities to us. They have like a connection with companies, stuff like that. They have a platform where a company will put the offers, and then you directly go to that platform and apply and submit your resume and stuff like that. So there is a ecosystem that is put in place to help you get a job as fast as possible once you finish. In Korea, at least in my university in Korea, it wasn't like that. We didn't have something like that.
I
The common challenge. First, if you don't have scholarship like me, you have a financial challenge. And if you also don't have like support from your parents and they're sending money to you every month, so you have to face that financial challenge. Um, I think also studying abroad, you have more challenge making friends, especially if you are not used to the culture like Korea. You're not used to Korean culture, so making friends is quite difficult. Stay open-minded. Stay open-minded is really important because you don't know what you will encounter in that country, and people don't have different way of thinking and solving problems. So stay open-minded to new opportunities, to solving the different challenge that you encounter in that country. I think is really helpful. The second advice that I could give is, don't just, when you go to a country, you go abroad for your study, don't just think study, because it's your first goal. You will definitely achieve that goal. But more than that, you should think about like the opportunities that you will get in the country. If you are an entrepreneur and that you want to like have your own startup or your own company by the end of your study, maybe you should start working on it day one. So think about your study, but also think about the opportunities and what you will do after your master's degree at the same time. Don't just focus 100% on completing your master's degree, because obviously at some point you'll be able to do that. And my last recommendation would be, do not wait for people to come to you before you introduce yourself to people around you. When you go to a new place, usually, at least for myself, I was always waiting for people to come to me. and make friends with me. That's why I didn't make a lot of friends in Korea. But I think is a bad way to see the whole picture. You should go to people and approach people, introduce yourself, and that way is easier for you to make friends and to get the right information at the right time.
Oh,
Yeah.